Hello everyone, my name is Tuan. I'm working as a lecturer at University of Languages and International Studies, Faculty of English Language Teacher Education. My job involves delivering lectures to second-year students, which can sometimes mean a lot of materials designing or selecting. I believe it's part of your job as a teacher too. Therefore, it will be essential that we understand the principles behind materials development, which I'm going to introduce to you today. In this module, I will focus on major current principles of and approaches to materials development. This is the first lesson in a series of lectures aiming at helping you with your materials development and adaptation in your own teaching. At the end of this module, you should be able to understand the main principles and approaches behind the current materials design. Apply your understanding of those principles and approaches to analyze your own coursebooks or materials. Apply your understanding of those principles and approaches to analyze and maybe adapt the use of activities in your teaching. In the next modules, you will be provided with some techniques to evaluate and adapt your materials and practice the evaluation and adaptation in the teaching of specific language skills. Now, let's start with a discussion. The questions I would like you to discuss are: Number 1. When choosing or designing materials, for example, a listening worksheet, what factors should be taken into account? The answer can vary due to the different teaching situations you experience and the beliefs you hold. You may think that the level of learners is the most important factors. However, some other teachers may also want to take the teaching aids, learner styles, and attitudes in consideration. On the other hand, some teachers may think that the aim of lesson should be the primary factor deciding how we choose or design the materials. Whatever your answer is, try to elaborate on it. Question number 2. What are some difficulties when you apply the same textbook into different classes? These difficulties can include the lack of facilities in each classroom, or the differences in the cultures of the class, or the attitudes and levels of different target learners. If you have some solutions to your problems, you should also share with other teachers. Question number 3. What do you often focus on or spend most of the time and effort on when teaching language? With this question, I mean whether you want learners to be good at the skills of using the language, or whether you hope your students to pass the exams with high results. Your wishes will affect the way you allocate time and effort on the activities in the classroom. That means whether you let the students practice the language most of the time to have better English competencies, or you allow them to do the grammar or vocabulary drills to develop their knowledge of English components. Think of the answers to the questions individually first, then share your ideas with other teachers. You are expected to give as many details and examples as possible to clarify your answers and compare them with each other. When you have finished discussing the questions, let's choose one coursebook that you are currently using in your teaching. This could either be a material you select for the class or a material you are assigned to use in class. Then analyze a book by answering the following questions. Number 1. What are the main activities described in the book? You might want to group the activities in different categories of the same features or objectives. Number 2. What is the expected ultimate outcome of each lesson? Like whether learners are expected to understand how to use a grammatical point, to remember a set of vocabulary related to the topic, or to be able to perform a task at the end of each unit. Number 3. What are the roles of teachers and learners in the procedure of teaching proposed by the book? For example, should the teacher work as a facilitator or instructor, and whether learners rely on themselves or the teachers to finish the task? Some coursework may not deliver this proposal directly. Therefore, you will need to figure out these roles inferred in the way the activities are organized. Number 4. How effectively do you think the book helps you with your teaching? Such as, does it help you to save your time in designing the activities, or does it provide you with some suggestions of how to teach the students? You should take a brief note of your analysis so that in the next step you can get back and analyze the book again and compare your answers before and after the lesson to see if your views have changed after the module or not. I'd like you to be as specific as possible in this part. To continue the lesson, you are supposed to read carefully and take detailed notes of the 2 readings written by Brian Tomlinson in 2011 and Joe McDonough et al. In 2013, and examine the major principles of and approaches to materials development in English teaching. With the first one by Brian Tomlinson in 2011, you should focus on 6 principles of language acquisition stated at the beginning, and those relevant to the development of materials for the teaching of languages. Dr. Brian Tomlinson is considered to be one of the world's leading experts on materials development for language learning. He founded the internationally renowned Materials Development Association, a non-profit making international association that brings together researchers, publishers, writers, and teachers to work together towards the development of high-quality materials for the learning of languages. We apply his theories in this text as the standard for the analysis of the materials in the following steps. Joe McDonough was senior lecturer in ELT and director of EFL at the University of Essex. He has published several works on English language teaching and cared about the materials used for the teaching and learning process. In this publication, he was supported by 2 co-workers. The first one is Christopher Shore, a lecturer on the MA TESOL course in the International Academy and on several MA ELT modules at University of Essex. The third author in this book is Hitomi Matsuhara, senior lecturer and course director of MA ELT and Materials Development at Leeds Metropolitan University. She is a founding member and secretary of Materials Development Association. This second reading by these 3 authors will work as a guide for us in any evaluation of materials and help with the selection, adaptation, or designing of teaching materials later. We should pay attention to the framework of teaching and types of syllabus, communicative language teaching approach and its influences, some claims for the organization and coverage of and the perception of learner and learning in current English materials. When you read the chapters, remember to take notes of the main ideas for reviewing later. Once you have finished, you may want to compare your notes with the ones taken by myself and watch my video for the clearer insight into the theories. I will share with you my own perception of those principles and approaches, as well as some examples of their applications in real-life teaching, especially in Vietnamese context in my video. Through the information from the reading text and some explanations and examples from my video, it is expected that you thoroughly understand the theories behind the materials development in modern language teaching and be able to analyze the books yourself to confirm your understanding. You can also take notes of my points if you think it's necessary. There will be also a quiz for you to check the understanding of the text. Answer the questions and give examples and explanations for your answers, according to your experiences and the information taken from the text. After that, I'll give you a chance to practice the analysis of one textbook which I assign to you to see whether it applies the theories into its design or not, or to what extent these theories are reflected in its syllabus and activities, and how effectively it will help teachers and learners in the teaching-learning process. You may talk about its strengths and weaknesses according to the theories discussed in the module. You will be asked to take notes of your analysis to share with other teachers. Next, you will turn back to the coursebook you chose at the beginning of the module, and based on the ideas we have explored and decided to take up, analyze it again. I expect you to record yourself and post your video to the forum. It will be necessary that you elaborate on your answers in your recording so that we can see whether we have similar or different views on materials and how we perceive the theories proposed in the reading text. You can watch one more video for the guide to analyze the book I give you and the reflection of the most important points in the module before this stage. Once you have watched my video of reflection, you are supposed to reflect your own understanding of the most important ideas discussed in the two texts and your way to apply these ideas into your teaching. You should talk about the benefits of the knowledge in this module to your materials development and your remaining challenges in this process. These challenges may be tackled with the information in the following modules. After all the activities above, spend some more time reading the two actual texts for more information of some improvements in today's ELT materials development and an example of how the theory works in real life in one context. You may learn something which can be useful for your own teaching. Lastly, don't forget to review some important words or phrases used in the two texts. Write down your definitions of these words and phrases and check with the ones inferred in the chapters to make sure you understand them truly.